Hi everybody, it's the Soap Man and it is time to make some soap. So what we'll be doing today is my very first attempt at a pouring technique called an in the pot swirl. We'll get more into that later. I am using 4 colors. If I can do these at this angle. Nurture Soap's Orange Marmalade. Be using Brambleberry's Hydrated Chrome Green. We'll be using Nurture Soap's Cabin Fever, and I don't even sure what brand it is, but titanium dioxide, and I will be fragrancing this with Brambleberry's Birchwood Oud. Have not used this before, been very curious. It's a dark orange color, as you can see here, but this got fantastic reviews as far as the way it smells and its great performance. So I'm hoping that holds true. I am taking a chance experimenting with a fragrance I haven't used, because this technique does require a very thin trace throughout the whole pour. So let me just get into this. For those of you who don't know what it is, I'll bring you along with me. Let's go ahead and get started. Get a very light emulsification. I have my colorants dispersed in oil to minimize stick blending. Get my 4 containers ready. And I'm going to achieve just a very, very light basic emulsification. I'm soaping at 85 degrees Fahrenheit. And I think that's all I need to keep it from separating. So I will get this into my 4 containers. And this is one of those, close is good enough. I'm not used to working with you overhead, so you may be out of the picture some for this. Sorry about that, but I'll try to keep you in the picture for the mixing and the pouring. So let's try to get you into the picture and get our 4 colors in. And we'll stir these in to see how they look like, what they look like, lightest to darkest. That looks pretty good to me, but it does look like I'm not 100% emulsified. So before I put the fragrance in, which I will hand stir, I'm going to very quickly hit this. And I know I may possibly have to do this. I usually like to hit titanium dioxide just a little bit anyway. And then I will hand stir the fragrance in. So the first part of this technique is getting your colors into one central pouring vessel that needs to be able to hold all of it with room to spare. And actually, how you layer this depends on how it will look. I've seen most people pour it down from the side. Now the first layer is not going to matter too much. You get all of your first color in. And here's where things vary. Instead of letting this next one, let's see, I want the orange. Instead of letting this kind of break through, you want to sort of let it lay on the top. And this is looking just a tad thin. Let's hope I'm not making a mistake with this. Okay. These are really thin. I'm going to shut you down just for a minute or two and we'll be right back. Okay, so far a huge kudos to this fragrance oil, because this is like 5 minutes later and I'm still debating if it's too thin to pour or not. I'm hoping it's not. So the goal is to try to pour your colors down the side of your vessel so most of it doesn't pierce through. It'll float on top instead. And once again, this is a new technique to me. This is brand new to me. So I'm going to try to pour this orange down the side. And hopefully it will float across the top. Then I'm going to pour my white the same way. And it's not floating across. Very thin. And my green. Now there goes the green going across. I'll clean this out later. And then this is the point where you take your mold and put it at an angle. So let me get that. I want it at a pretty steep angle too. Let me make sure you're in the picture. I want a pretty steep angle to start, and you pour it down the side of your mold at a relatively fast pace. So let's give it a shot. My first attempt. And I can see some of the muddling, and then I'll try to level the angle out a little bit. Some of it's going down the side of the mold, some of it's going over the side of the mold, some of it's going straight in. And then at this point, I will have to set the mold down flat to get the rest in. I cannot believe how thin this still is. This is unbelievably thin. But fearful that the fragrance would accelerate. Since I hadn't tested it, I was really cautious, and I'm using a very well behaving recipe. So that is probably not going to have the desired effect. But it'll still be good soap. The truth is, we won't know until tomorrow. This is so thin, I'm not going to pick it up. I want to bring it up to you to show it to you, but it is so thin, I'm afraid to. So, I'm going to shut this down, let this sit for a while, spray it with some alcohol, let it sit longer, spray it again, put it to bed, and I will see you tomorrow for the cut. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye. Alright, so we're back to cut our soap. And I thoroughly expected this not to set up. This took so long to set up. I used a different recipe because I know it behaves well, and I know with this particular pour, it has to. And while I love my recipe, I use it all the time, it's a fast-moving recipe, so I used a slow one. I thoroughly expected to have to throw this away. Usually my recipe, if it gels 12 hours later, it's screaming, let me out, I'm done. 12 hours later, this was soft. It was still jiggly. 24 hours later, it has set up. I don't think the pour achieved the right results. However, I think it's because it was so daggone thin and it took forever to set up. Plus, it was my first time to do it. So let's just go ahead and cut and see. I do not know, but I'm going to find out with you. It's still semi-soft. We got sort of what it's supposed to look like. Now, I love this color combination. And I love this fragrance. It smells great. And it behaves well. So I'm going to try this again. I'm actually going to use a different recipe. Now, there's a little bit more of what it's supposed to look like. I'm going to use a different recipe that I also know behaves well and try another one this weekend. This actually is a little closer than I was expecting. That's somewhat what it's supposed to look like. And this birchwood oud really smells good. I like it. So I will definitely try it again this weekend. So once again, not what I planned, but the way this was going, way better than I expected. And it does look nice. I mean, I am overall pleased. And it smells good, so yeah, I do give that fragrance a double thumbs up. So folks, thanks for watching. Y'all stay safe, and I will see you hopefully this weekend. All right then, bye.